By the way, thank you, Mr. Plow, for joining us and our tradition L.E.G draft review. And the reason you are here, sir, is, well, you won the league. Congratulations. How does it feel to be the 2023 L.E.G champion after such heartbreak, literal heartache from the year before?
You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've got no ill will towards Joe. The man is a gentleman, but I think we all know I would have beat him had that game not ended, 6 minutes into it. So congrats to him on last year. I'm happy to finally hold this title, hold this championship with the more dignity than it deserves. And it's nice that I not only got to win it, but I got to, who'd I beat? I don't even remember. Who'd I beat?
I think we all know that answer as, again, I came up short. I've been in the championship 5 times, Blau. Five
times. Wow.
I'm like the 2000 Colts. I've only won once, and I've had too many opportunities. The all-time winningest franchise in LEG history, and I've got one piece of hardware to.
And you got shit to show for it. Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I'm not sorry, but cool.
Hopefully Lamar Jackson got a gift basket from you, because that was pretty much the only reason you won.
I was looking around, and Lamar Jackson really wasn't. I don't have it in front of me right now. I can't remember. Lamar Jackson was a part of it, obviously.
He was.
But your real problems were really down roster from him. He was just the biggest points guy. I had 3 other guys blow up that week, so you were. You were doomed to fail. So it's just like it's your birthright.
I overprojected too. It was like 180, almost 190 points, and I still lost.
Yeah, it was a huge week. It was a good game. Good game.
Well, let's move past that, shall we? As we now have 2 former champions on the draft review. As last week we had the 2024 LEG draft at Mashcraft. Appreciate everyone that made it out there. We actually had 10 out of 12. That was a good ratio, better than a couple of years past.
And one had a good excuse.
Yeah, one did have a very good excuse. That's right. But let's talk about the draft, Mr. Plow. You obviously have now a little bit more credibility under your belt for winning a championship. So you know how to build a winning team, and I'm going to divide them into 3 groups. Because it's kind of, we're going to grade what Yahoo gave them, and we're going to give our own opinion because Yahoo's not always right. That's why Dahlgren gets an A+ every year, except for this year. I won't spoil it. But, Mr. Plow, I assume you've done your research. You've looked these rosters over?
A little bit. I didn't really look at the Yahoo grades, so they'll be a surprise to me as you give them.
Yeah, I will give you the Yahoo grades. So let's start with the first crop of 4. This is the lowest crop. This is the back of the class, the dunces, the kids that talk too much, and they're all the way in the back. I'm very familiar with that. We've got Fields of Gold, Modelo Virus, Anu Roger Goodell, and Pretty Little Liars. So that's Shook, Jabel, Anu, and Abi. So the Reddy brothers in the back of the class. All of them had Ds. Fields of Gold had the lowest score at D-. He is the current Hoffa holder. So no shock there. And Abi with the highest score out of that group, D+. All Ds. Now, out of this crop, looking at their roster, who do you think is absolutely deserved to be there? And who do you think has no right to be the back of the class?
Absolutely deserves to be there is Shook. It's one of those things where it's just expected at this point. There's sustained excellence that you're looking at, and then there's sustained shookness. And the sustained shookness is like, I'm not going to ask him for football advice. I'm not going to listen to the men of 40 talking Ohio State football. I'm not going to do any of that. I am going to show up at the draft. I'm going to ask him about Blink 182, and then I'm going to assume that he's just putting all of his chips in the middle of the table to take that Hoffa home one more time.
Well, he's very reliant on the Houston Texans, Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, which was a great combination last year, but Stephon Diggs coming over kind of changes that. And at the very top, he didn't have the number 1 pick. He had number 7, and he took Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson, probably the best wide receiver in the league, as you know, but Sam Darnold's throwing to him. Now that A.J. McConnell, is that his name? A.J. McConnell is out for the year?
I can't remember the dude's name. So some rookie that was going to throw to him before, and now they've got some career backup throwing to him. So, right. Either way, look, Justin Jefferson's the type of receiver. He's going to spin some shit into gold. That's what he does.
Yes.
I went all in on him in my auction league. So I get it. Justin Jefferson's a seductive pick. I spent too much money on him. Shook spent what's probably a pretty good pick on him. Yeah. Overall, if I was taking the Shook out of the equation, I'd rate it as drafted B, honestly.
Wow.
It's not as bad as Yahoo says. But still, there's the Shook. You can't shake that.
Can't wait for the comments in this.
Can't shake that. No, he's got Jefferson, he's got Olave, he's got Nico. He's doing all right, wide receiver. Running backs, I don't know what to think about Najee, but what's his name? Williams, is that his name? The rookie guy there that's supposed to split carries with him?
Jonathan
Whatever.
Brooks.
Anyway, no.
Wait, no, that's in Carolina.
No, Brooks is Carolina. Yeah.
Which he drafted Chuba Hubbard. That's why I brought up Brooks.
Yeah, but it looks like Najee is going to get the bulk of the carries to start out. There's a little hamstring issue going on right there.
Jalen Warren's the guy that's going to take snaps from
Warren. That's it. Not
Najee Harris.
Yeah.
But I did like the Zach Charbonnet and the Chuba Hubbard picks in the 11th and 12th round. Were not bad, but that's going to require an injury to Kenneth Walker, and Chuba Hubbard's going to have to hold off Jonathan Brooks in Carolina. So I agree that he should be in this group, but I think he should be at the top of this group. I don't think he's gonna repeat his Hoffman.
Look, again, I'm adding person to roster here. You don't get to how many Hoffas in a row is it?
He's won 3 total, not in a row. No one has ever James Yarnell'd their way through the Hoffa.
Well, he's got 3 total. That's hard to do without some roster management. So
that's true.
We're gonna go ahead and put him at the bottom of the list for that. Who do you have at the bottom of the list?
I was looking at Jabel's. I appreciate the question. I get asked a question. I was looking at Jabel's roster, and at the top, it looks good. I mean, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow's health, that's a big deal. Travis Etienne, a lot of people are talking about Travis Etienne as a sleeper kind of workhorse back, but it's Jacksonville. They air it out a lot.
For Jacksonville.
And yeah, there's that. He did get Sam Laporta in the 3rd round, which I'm never on board with a tight end that high. But really, where I think it's going to be shaky is that 4 or 5 round. That's a really pivotal round for players. And Brandon Ayuk is still up in the air. I think he's going to be a 49er. Everyone else thinks he's going to go to Pittsburgh. That's probably what's going to happen. That's going to bring his value down. And Devonta Smith. I know I had Devonta Smith last year. He was a phenomenal player, except in the championship. But I think this is the A.J. Brown breakout year where they get everything back on track, because when the Eagles' offense slid, Devonta Smith took a lot of targets, and A.J. Brown kind of disappeared. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think the Eagles rebound and their offense gets back together. So I'm going to put Jabel down there in that group.
Yeah, and looking at Jabel's roster, because I didn't pay Jabel much mind unless we're talking barbecue. This is not a best ball league, right?
No, it's not.
So what's with those quarterbacks? Jay and Daniels, Justin Fields?
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yep. That's a very good point. I didn't even touch on that. That's a very
saying Travis Etienne's your workhorse back is like saying I'm your financial advisor.
I see. Well, yeah, so that's my take on the bottom of the class. Now let's focus on a group that I'm very accustomed with, the mediocre grades, the C's of the world, the B- to C- kind of range, which was my academia expertise. We have a former 3-time champion, Austin Stoll, the Dak Street Boys. Mick got a C, as boom, there's the flavor. Dahlgren came in with a B, and also Joe at the very bottom with a C-. So there's your C-, Dahlgren at the top of that group, Joe at the bottom of that group. Which one rises? Which one falls?
Mick rises. I hate to say it. Dahlgren, bottom of the group.
And we were there at the draft. There were some very interesting picks from our remote drafters.
You know, did he have auto pick on somehow? Like there were a couple times there it was a little too fast and a little too like, what's going on here?
I mean, obviously taking CD Lamb at number 3, you know, the fact that he dropped the 3 was pretty good.
No-brainer. Yeah, you do it.
I'm going to agree with you on Dahlgren, but Devontae Adams and Rachaad White in the 3rd round. Now, granted, Rachaad White got a lot of opportunities, but he is not an efficient running back. And they just got Bucky Irving over there, who's like a PPR dream out of the Tampa Bay backfield. And his quarterback is Anthony Richardson. And again, that's a health issue. And he didn't look that great last night playing the Bengals. This is on a Friday, by the way, we're recording. Looked a little inaccurate, did throw a touchdown pass against the 2nd-string Bengals defense, but he looked a little off.
It was a rough night. It was a rough night for the
I'm hoping that
boys in blue.
Yeah, I'm hoping that gets fixed. But starting running backs are DeAndre Swift and Rachaad White. I don't think so.
What you think he's not starting Ramadre?
Yeah, that might be his flex call. Keenan Allen.
Hey, he grabbed Nick Chubb, and if I remember right, he grabbed him kind of late. I don't remember what
he did in the 11th round. He did grab Nick
Chubb. It's looking like he's going to start the season, so that could end up being a value pick.
That's news to me because I did not think he was going to play until like halfway.
I did not either. I let him go way too cheap in my other league, but it looks like he's going to, if not week 1, we might be seeing him by week 2.
Yeah, and Keenan Allen, the word out of Chicago is that he's like put on weight and he doesn't care.
Dude, deep dish pizza is fucking delicious.
It is. The deep dish pizza is delicious. So you think Mick's going to rise. I think Dahlgren's going to fall.
I think Dahlgren's
who do you
falling,
think is going to drop out of that group? Is it Dahlgren?
Yeah, I think it is Dahlgren.
Okay. We're in agreement there.
I really want to say Dak Street, but like, dude's draft wasn't that bad. He just wasn't there for no reason that I can discern. Something about he decided to go to Amsterdam, take a vision quest or something. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's got to be Dahlgren falling out of there.
I tell you what, Joe taking Debo in the 2nd round, that could potentially be very, very big for him if Brandon Ayuk gets moved. If not, that might have been a reach, in my opinion, to take him that high. But Josh Allen as your QB is always nice. Not every week, but that's nice to have. And the Alvin Kamara for Joe, he was my 2nd runner-up. I think Joe and Mick will kind of separate themselves from that group, and I think Austin and Dahlgren will go down.
I don't know if Austin goes down or not. He might just be firmly in that group. That just might be like he's the bar for him.
Yes. Okay. So there's our middle of the run group. Now let's go to the top 4. We haven't mentioned your name, and we haven't mentioned my name. So look at that. We made it to the top of the class. And the Yahoo grades are as follows. I got a B+. Dan Nickel gets an A-. The defending champ, Dave Plow, got an A. And working from Mahomes, 2nd to last place last year, got an A+. Coincidentally, the number 1 draft pick, which Yahoo automatically gives you an A if you pick number 1 and you pick their consensus number 1. So we're going to do something a little different. Out of that group, which one is championship material and which one is a fraud?
I'm going to go on the air. I'm going to make the same prediction I made last year, which is I'm in the championship again. 3 years running. But this year, I think it's going to be me and Danny, me and Nickel. Ooh. And I'm saying that because Nickel's got the pedigree. Whenever he shows up, well, most of the time when he shows up, something about the way he drafts usually works out for him by the end of the year. He almost always ends up like somewhere in the mix. He ends up, At least it seems like it. So I'm going to say it's going to be me and Nickel this year. And last year I was half right. So let's see if I get them both this year.
Well, that's a pretty big swing out of Nickel for his first draft picks. Be Tyreek Hill, Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco. Those are all potential big booms. But
look, I can't stand the idea of having Pacheco as a running back because I've done it. But at the same time, he builds a defense. He always does it. That's where he makes up his points. And I don't know enough about football. I'm not great at projecting defense. I'm good at seeing trends and moving and making changes. That's how I build my defense. This dude's usually able to draft it and move with it. So that's where he makes up his points at typically.
Yeah. Dak Prescott in the 8th round too. He waited on a QB. That may be a very good move. But his backup is Justin Herbert. I don't think he's going to have a good year.
You guys, all you people like that are saying Herbert's bad this year, I don't see it, man. Harbaugh's known for the run game. I get it. Harbaugh's known for playing what works for his personnel, and he's got no running backs. I think they're going to be airing it quite a bit this year.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at your team.
Oh, okay. Well,
let's take a look at your team. Now, you obviously got
the number one draft in the league. Got it. Yeah.
You got an A, obviously, for your efforts there. And Cooper Kupp. Now, that was a sneaky good pick because there's a little bit of injury to Puka. He's not as young as he used to be. Jamar Gibbs, though, is a great follow-up in the 2nd round. And James Cook, if he cooks like he did towards the end of the season, he could be very good. What I liked was you getting Mahomes in the 4th round. He's going to have a bounce back year.
I liked that too. That worked double. 1, he dropped to me in the 4th. 2, what I hoped was going to happen absolutely happened. I took Mahomes and started a quarterback run, and that's really what I wanted to happen because I wanted to bring people back around to me in the 5th.
Yeah,
picking in that last spot, it's going to be so sweet picking last and coming in first. But picking last, you kind of got to predict your next couple picks. You got a long time to wait. A lot of time to go grab beer, get your food, do whatever you need to do. So I needed to start a run at that point, and it worked. So thank you all for being lemmings.
How do you feel about Kyle Pitts as your starting tight end?
I've seen this. I've played this game before, and I don't like that I did it. I kind of talked myself into it as we were doing it in the draft. And I was trying to talk myself out of it because I knew what the I was doing, and I did it anyway. So I'm not thrilled with it. But there's a new regime. Things could be different. He hasn't hit me in 2 weeks, so maybe we'll go 3 weeks without another fight.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much where the only weakness I see there is the tight end, because he could just absolutely disappear because that's all he's done his whole career there in Atlanta. But you're right, new regime, new quarterback, Kirk Cousins, tossing the pigskin. Which one of these do you think does not deserve to be at the head of the class? Because I think I have my answer, and I hate to give it. It's only because he got an A+. I think Barris's grade's a little too high. Obviously, taking Christian McCaffrey number 1 overall. And Mike Evans, is steady Eddie. 1,000 years. He's like 1,000 years old. 1,000 yards every season.
I think Mike Evans and I went to high school together.
Yeah, exactly. He's the number 1 target in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay throws in a lot. But Travis Kelce, he's in the twilight of his career. He's in the Taylor Swift eras of his career. And after that, it gets really dicey. Zay Flowers, James Conner, who should be good, but he's only going to give you about 5 or 6 games because he's only healthy for about 6 or 7. And he's got a very good rookie behind him that's going to take some snaps. His starting QB is Jordan Love. Again, not a bad selection, but not consistent. What you need in this league, he's not an elite top quarterback in fantasy football. And Jaden Reed to stack that, I don't know. I think Barris is more like in the low B ranges.
I don't love Green Bay's coaching, so I don't like that Jordan Love pick as your number 1 quarterback. McCaffrey, great. There could be an injury, but he's been solid for a year now, so you got to kind of put that behind you. Connor thing, I'm not big on. Evans is going to hit a wall at some point, so you're playing with fire there. The Zay Flowers, I don't mind. The Addison pick, though, that one had me scratching my head a little bit. I talked about Jefferson. He's your fireman. He's going to do shit. He's going to find something no matter what. Addison injured and Sam Darnold throwing the ball. That one worries me a little bit. I like the Jacoby Myers pick because I'm a homer. And
of course.
Kelsey's going to go one of 2 ways. He's either going to be, I guess, one of 3 ways. He's either going to do what he did last year, which was protect himself during the season and show up in the postseason. I think this is his last hurrah. I kind of thought he'd retire after the Super Bowl last year. I'm positive he's done after this year. So he might try to put up the stats and have the all-star final season, amazing season. Or he might be more concerned about getting that final Super Bowl because it seems like the Chiefs are all in on this one last, let's get the three-peat. get out, do what we can. So we'll see how Kelsey works out. I don't love Kelsey. They also have like a pretty good backup tight end, young guy, rookie, if I remember right. That it seems like they're trying to train to take over, which means snap share.
They've got a lot of young weapons ready to go. Xavier Worthy's one of them. I mean, Rashid Rice, I don't think he's going to get suspended this year.
It's not going to happen this year.
There's just pure speed. It's almost like what the Miami Dolphins want to be, a complete team, and not just like a fast-paced offense that can score 50 points. You know, this is the Chiefs. That's why they're the best team in the league, and I hate it. Now, Plow, I want to ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
Just put on a blindfold. If you heard that the top 4 picks for this mysterious team was Amon-Ra St. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Jalen Hurts, all 4 in a row, what would you grade that team? Would you ask yourself, like, what is this, an 8-man league?
I would not bad. I would worry about injury risk. My first thought would be high potential, low floor.
Yeah. Very high ceiling, very low floor. I agree with that.
No, high ceiling, low floor. It's dude, I love Derrick Henry. I ain't get him in any of my leagues. I wanted him in one of them. Just one of them, just so I could like be like, yes, the Derrick Henry experience. Didn't get him in any of them. At the same time, though, I'm like, man, there's definitely a cliff somewhere. He's shown that he's somewhat inhuman for a running back.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of AP like in that, he can just keep going. He can come back from stuff. But even with AP, at some point, it just went from there, boom, down, gone, dead. That's going to happen there with him.
I think Vegas has some ridiculous betting odd for him to like score 15 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like he is positioned to do very, very well in a team that is built specifically for Derrick Henry to do his thing.
It seems like a perfect fit, which gives me cold feet.
Yeah, that's true. It's usually when it's too good to be true, it usually is. Okay, so there's the rundown. So then who's your overall winner of the draft? Who do you think should have had the top grade? And if you say yourself, I'm going to spit. Oh, okay.
I'm going to say the whole fucking show right here. Boom. It's me, man. It's me. I have proven year after year after year now, these last few years, I've been murdering you fools. And I don't see it changing.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, it was fluky the year before that you didn't win, but definitely earned your right. Man, as a 5th seed too, like I thought you weren't even going to make the playoffs. That's the thing that really made me. I was number 1 for pretty much all year. I was the highest scoring team. I got a first round bye, and then up comes this Plow character trying to get back to the championship. So I do my little D-Lo round.
I had a rough season. It shouldn't have been as rough as it was, but I got there. You got to get there. Once you're in the dance, you got a chance,
Well, it's funny because I think I got the highest draft grade. What do you think about that? With the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse that I just mentioned, and on top of that, the first 3 linebackers I drafted are tackling machines. I think that's something that's going to be very, very underlooked and very underrated to my draft. So I think I'm going to be in the championship, and I think I'm going to win. And
if I don't make it, it's because of my defense. I didn't do a good job with defense this year. I did okay. I didn't do good.
Fair enough. All right, real quick. So draft grade. Thank you for doing that. We're going to do a quick rundown. We're just going to do a pick 'em for the first week. Can you believe football season is about to start?
Yeah, no, it's so close.
First week matchups. Myself taking on Mick. Boom. There's the flavor. I'm favored to win by 8 points, 157, 149. Who's going to win?
Yahoo never lies. You're going to win.
I love it. I do too. I think that's going to be I've got a Thursday night game and a Friday night game with the Eagles and the Ravens are playing. There's a Friday night game this week, which is
weird.
The first week is so weird.
Yeah.
I think this is actually really close. It's literally 0.01 difference in projected score. Dan Nickel versus John Dahlgren. Who takes this one?
This is Nickel. It's Nickel.
Yeah, I was surprised how close that is.
I'm sorry, Dahlgren. Go back to Hawaii or wherever the hell you're at.
The dude owns
pack it up, go home. Huh?
He's swimming in a pile of cocaine right now in his 12
I assumed as much. Like every time I've seen him, he's been hopped up and thin. So that's the only explanation.
I'm also going to take Nickel this week. All right. We're agreeing. That makes for such fun viewing. Dak Street Boys versus Joe Murdoch's Insane Ground Posse. Joe's favorite to win, 158, 150. Who takes this one?
You know what? I'm just going to go with Joe for the hell of it.
Okay.
I've got no analysis. I wasn't planning on doing this. I forgot how close the season was.
Well, that's okay. I think, you know what? To be different, I'm going to take Dak Street Boys. You know why?
You
Because
fucking
Lamar
idiot.
Jackson is the quarterback for the Dak Street Boys, and I think he has a great opening game. I think he's either Thursday or Friday night. Friday night, I think. Thursday or Friday. I don't remember.
Some night.
So one of those nights. Here we go. Nick Shook favored to win this week, 147-143 over Jables Modelo Virus. Who takes it this week? It's the CJ Stroud versus Jaden Daniels show.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm going with Shook. He's better quarterback, better top receiver. From that point on, man, I'm looking down him again. Sam Laporta's better than than Ingram, but fuck, I'm going Shook. It's going to be his win this year.
Okay.
They start off hot, right? You know,
Yeah.
You can only go down from there.
Exactly. He started out 3-3 last year and didn't win a game the rest of the season. Anurag hasn't even started his lineup yet, so I don't even know what his projection's going to be. He's taking on Adam Barris, who got the highest draft grade. Who do you think is going to win this game with the likes of Brees Hall and Devin Achane on the bench and Malik Neighbors and Stephon Diggs for Anu?
I am looking down this roster one more time and looking at Barris's roster and realizing I didn't need to look at either roster. It's working from Mahomes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry,
I'm going to take Anurag. I think Brees Hall's going to have a breakout game on Monday night against the Niners. I'm going to hate it. But with Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be juiced as long as he doesn't go down to an injury right away. I think he's going to be juiced. And also Aaron Jones, new face in Minnesota.
Look, I love Jones. I don't like Cooper this year. I don't like Diggs this year. Achane, kind of iffy. I do like Drake London though, so that's something. But overall, man, I gotta go Bear on this one.
Okay. I already know my prediction.
You already know the answer.
Pretty Little Liars versus Rocky Bitches. Now you're already out of the gate projected to lose, Mr. Number 1 overall team. Who takes it this week, you or Abby?
Well, I do have a history of losing to the Reddy brothers in championship games, but in regular season games, I think we're pretty 50-50. I'm going to go ahead and take myself in this. Mahomes versus Burrow. Burrow's got the weirdest wrist injury of a quarterback ever. Who knows what he's going to be like. He does have Brown. I got Cup. Cup's going to be a PPR machine this season, I think. So I think that'll stay close. Puka, is he even playing? It's hamstring, right? Like, can he run?
He's got the big red Q.
Yeah, he does. Oh, knee. It's a knee. So that's good for runners. But yeah, I'm going to take me over Abby. Yahoo always lies, man.
It usually does. And unfortunately, I'm going to agree with you. I feel like Abby's got the advantage of receivers if Puka's healthy, but you got the advantage at running back. And the flex is kind of a wash a little bit. Maybe lean towards more Pittman as their number 1 receiver. Mike Williams.
How did Pittman not catch that pass over the middle the other night? Like, it was like this low. Like, he was in his arms, man. How did he not catch that?
He's a wide receiver 2 at best. He's not a lead dog receiver. I've been saying this for years. That's why I didn't want them to pay him. But again, Thursday night, defending champs taking on the Baltimore Ravens, which should be an amazing game. Patty Mahomes is going to shine. He probably puts up like the Lamar Jackson numbers that you had in the championship.
He and Lamar could have a straight up shootout, and it could be a blast.
It should be. But then again, usually like those games turn out, it's like 10-14 at the final, you know?
That's a good point, yeah.
Like, great. Yeah. That was so fun watching. All right, Mr. Plow, you already gave me your bold prediction for the season of predicting yourself to win. Such a shocking revelation.
Yeah, so bold. I mean, there's precedent, but whatever.
Give me one other bold prediction for the 2024 L.E.G season. It could be a championship, it could be a Hoffa, or it could be an overachiever, underachiever, or somebody gets shot.
Just a bold prediction. Just talking shit out my ass. All right. JD's going to be the number 2 team in the league. Regular season.
Okay.
Regular season.
Regular season. Okay.
Yeah, regular season. No. At the end, it's me and Nickel. But regular season, you're number 2.
See, I think I'm going to take on Dan Nickel, who I have a lot of history with in championships, who's thwarted at least 2 or 3 extra championships under my belt. This year's my vengeance year. It's the revenge tour for me. I'm going to beat Dan in the championship. That's my prediction. What about NFL predictions? Give me your wildest NFL
My
prediction
wildest
for this season.
NFL prediction? Oh, man. The Raiders are going to pick in the middle of the pack. I feel like that's pretty wild right now.
That is, because I think they're going to be like on the clock by November.
Yeah.
Looking for a QB.
I think we're going to end up middle of the pack. I kind of think the Chiefs pull off the three-peat.
Oh.
I know. I don't love it either.
Yeah.
I'm also looking for the complete implosion of Miami.
Ooh.
I want this to be I don't know if this is more like I want it for entertainment value or I think it's going to happen, but you remember like the Terrell Owens Cowboys?
Yes.
I think that's Miami this year.
Ooh.
Like they're either going to be incredible or they're going to be awful, and either way it's going to be kind of a blast to watch.
Wow. Okay. I'm on board for that. My bold prediction, I think it's a repeat. I think it's 49ers Chiefs, and the 49ers come out on top because they have to win. Their window is about this far open. I mean, it is almost all the way closed. They're going to lose a lot of players to free agency. They can't keep everyone, the salary cap, all that. So go Niners. Woo!
Well, I'm glad you have one of your teams.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank God for that. All right. Well, Mr. Plow, thank you for coming on this week to run down the draft. Thanks for being there at the draft. And you have any last parting words for the rest of your fellow League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Let me think. I do. Acknowledge me.
I'm pointing up to heaven because I want you dead.
Oh, that's fair. No, that's my wife does it all the time.
I want you dead. All
I
right,
realized
Plow.
that's what she was saying. I thought she called me number one.
I don't respect you. I appreciate it, Mr. Plow. Thank you for coming on. This has been L.E.G's draft review for the 2024 season.